Don't touch that! I'm not a thief, cried the young janitor, clutching an old backpack to her chest. The millionaire was certain she had stolen from him until he unzipped the bag and froze. Lisa hated the smell of bleach. But what choice did she have? In the upscale restaurant where she worked as a cleaner, cleanliness wasn't just expected, it was worshipped. But before we continue, let us know where you're watching from in the comments. And now, settle in. You're about to hear a story that might just change the way you see the world. She dreamed of another life. One where she didn't have to scrub leftovers from other people's plates or breathe in acrid disinfectants. She dreamed of a university, of books with crisp pages, of seeing the world beyond the city skyline. Dreams that felt impossibly distant from the confines of her own reality. At 19, Lisa had spent nearly her entire life within the gray, peeling walls of a state-run orphanage. Only recently had she moved into a modest dormitory for aged-out orphans. That little room represented her first taste of freedom, and the restaurant job was the only way she could keep it. The night had been exhausting. A high-level delegation had dined in one of the VIP rooms, and the mess left behind was monumental. Lisa was cleaning one of the private lounges when she noticed something odd. The office door of the restaurant owner, Andrew Sullivan, was slightly ajar. Curiosity tugged at her. Just for a moment, she stepped inside. The office was the embodiment of masculine power. Dark wood furniture, a sleek leather chair, a sprawling desk buried in documents. Lisa's eyes skimmed the room quickly. She knew she had no right to be there. She turned and slipped out. The next day, everything changed. At the end of her shift, just as Lisa was ready to head home, the security guard called out to her. "Lisa, Mr. Sullivan would like to see you in his office." Her heart dropped. Andrew Sullivan, owner of the restaurant, a name whispered with awe behind every kitchen door. Young, wildly successful, obscenely wealthy. Lisa had only ever seen him from afar and never imagined she'd have to speak to him directly. She stepped into his office, forcing herself to appear calm. Andrew sat behind his grand desk, his gaze cold and razor-sharp. He wore a tailored suit that practically radiated authority and control. "Lisa, have a seat," he said, his tone like ice. She perched on the edge of the chair, palms already damp with sweat. "I've been told you entered my office last night. Is that true?" Lisa felt the blood drain from her face. "Yes, Mr. Sullivan. I was just walking by and saw the door open. I got curious. I didn't mean any harm." "Curious?" he echoed with a smirk. "You don't think that kind of curiosity is a dangerous luxury for someone in your position?" Lisa dropped her gaze, speechless. "After your little visit, some highly valuable documents went missing from my safe," he continued, raising his voice slightly. "Documents that mean a great deal to me." Her head snapped up, horror widening her eyes. I didn't take anything, I swear. I didn't even go near your safe." "No need to swear," he cut her off. "Just show me your backpack." "What?" "Show me your backpack right now." "But why?" she stammered. "I told you, I didn't take anything." "Security!" he called out, ignoring her protests. Two large guards entered the room. Panic overtook her. "Don't touch me!" she screamed, clutching the backpack tighter. "I'm not a thief! You have no right!" Andrew rose from his chair and stepped closer. His eyes held no pity, only suspicion and quiet rage. "I don't have time for games, Lisa. If you're innocent, you have nothing to hide. Show us the bag, and this will all be over." Lisa shook her head, desperate. Inside the backpack were her most private treasures: faded photos from the orphanage, letters from old friends, medical records, and something else. A document she kept hidden like a scar, a legal statement of abandonment from her parents, a paper that reminded her again and again that she was unwanted, a mistake. She didn't want him to see that, didn't want anyone to. "Please, believe me," she pleaded. "I didn't take your papers. There's nothing in there." But Andrew wasn't listening. He nodded to the guards. They advanced, strong and unmoved. Lisa struggled, trying to pull away, but they overpowered her. One grabbed her arms, while the other snatched the bag from her grasp. "No," she sobbed. "That's mine. Give it back." The guard handed the bag to Andrew. He took it, glanced at her with disdain and said, "Let's see who's lying." Lisa held her breath as he unzipped the bag. She would rather he had found the stolen documents. At least that would have made sense. But this would expose her soul. He reached inside. First, he found a crumpled pack of tissues, then an old wallet with barely enough change for the bus. Then he saw a bundle of aged letters tied together with a faded ribbon. He pulled them out and skimmed them. His brows furrowed. He dug deeper. His hand brushed something stiff, folded. He pulled it out. Lisa shut her eyes. She knew exactly what it was, the official abandonment certificate, the one she'd carried since the day she left the orphanage, her secret shame. Silence thickened the room. She could feel their eyes on her, but she couldn't make herself look up. Finally, Andrew spoke. "What is this?" His voice was different now, softer, tinged with something unfamiliar. Lisa didn't answer. She couldn't. He opened the document. First, he saw government stamps and seals. Then his eyes landed on the names. Sullivan and Sullivan. He read it again. "Sullivan," he murmured. In the space for mother and father, it was his surname, his parents. The room swam, the date of birth, 19 years ago. He remembered that year. He had just started college. His parents lived in another city, struggling financially. He looked at Lisa again. Her face was pale, her lips trembled. This was Dash. "This is impossible," he whispered. He looked back at the document, searching for some kind of mistake. Anything. He remembered how he had yelled at her, accused her, humiliated her, and she had only been looking for answers. Lisa opened her eyes. She saw the shock in his face, the confusion, the sorrow. The rage was gone, replaced by something heavier. She stayed silent. She had carried this pain too long to explain it in a few words. Andrew exhaled. He needed time to think. So did she. "Go," he said quietly. "Go home." Andrew sat alone in his office, massaging his temples. The discovery of that abandonment certificate had flipped his world upside down. He couldn't believe it. He had a sister he never even knew existed, and not just any girl. Lisa, the quiet janitor he had just accused of stealing. Guilt gnawed at him, sharp and relentless. Without hesitation, he grabbed his phone and dialed the number of Mrs. Valerie Jennings. He remembered her from childhood, kind, warm, always surrounded by children at the group home. She had been close to his family. Too close, he now realized. "Valerie Jennings, hello? This is Andrew Sullivan. I hope I'm not disturbing you." "Andrew, what a surprise, dear. Of course not. It's wonderful to hear from you. How can I help you?" Her voice still carried that same soft kindness. I need your help, Miss Jennings. It's about one of the girls from your home, Lisa." There was a pause on the other end. "Lisa, did something happen?" Andrew swallowed hard. "I found an abandonment certificate. Her name, my parents' names, Sullivan. I don't know what to think." A long silence. Then her voice returned, heavy with sadness. "Oh, Andrew, I always knew one day the truth would come out. She's my sister." he asked, barely above a whisper. Yes, Valerie said. Lisa is your sister, Andrew. The world seemed to still. But why? Why didn't I know? It's a long and painful story, she replied gently. Your parents made a terrible mistake. After you left for college, your mother discovered she was pregnant. They were overwhelmed. Your father had lost his job. Your mother's health was fragile. They thought they couldn't afford to raise another child, and they didn't want to distract you or make you come back. So, they made a choice. Andrew gritted his teeth. They abandoned her. They thought they were doing what was best, she said softly. But it broke something inside both of them, and in her. And in you too, though you didn't know it yet. Memories surged. His parents always preaching the importance of family, always talking about loyalty, unity. Yet they had kept this enormous secret. Thank you, he whispered. Thank you for telling me. If you ever need anything at all. After hanging up, Andrew stood and stared out the window, the city buzzing below. His mind raced. He had to make things right. He had to find Lisa. He had to apologize, not just with words, but with actions. He had to show her that he wasn't like them, that she wasn't alone anymore. The next day, Andrew invited her to a smaller, quieter office, far from the cold, sterile grandeur of his usual space. The wood-paneled walls, the shelves filled with books on culinary history, the papers strewn across the desk. This room felt human. Lisa walked in nervously, her eyes darting around. Please, have a seat, Andrew said gently, motioning to a chair across from him. There was no edge in his voice, only warmth. She sat down, hesitant. I want to talk, he began. About everything. Lisa said nothing. First, I owe you an apology, he continued, his voice sincere. For how I treated you. I judged you unfairly. I was blinded by assumptions. Lisa gave a small nod, her expression unreadable. I know words can't undo the damage, he went on, but I truly regret it. I regret not knowing about you, about your life, that you grew up without any of us. He took a shaky breath. They never told me. My parents, they hid everything. I only found out yesterday when I saw that document. I was in shock. A beat of silence. Why didn't you tell me? He asked gently. Why didn't you say you were my sister? Lisa lowered her gaze. I didn't want to disrupt your life, she said softly. I just wanted to know where I came from, to see you. I didn't expect anything. I didn't want to ask for anything. Andrew's chest ached. The loneliness in her voice cut deeper than any confession. Lisa, listen. He leaned forward. I want to help you. I want to make up for all the years you were left alone. I know I can't fix everything in a day, but I'm ready to try. She looked up at him, eyes full of doubt, and something else, hope. What are you offering? She asked carefully. I want you to move in with me, he said. I have a big house. You don't need to stay in that dorm anymore. She shook her head. I can't. I'm used to taking care of myself. I don't want to be a burden. You wouldn't be a burden, he said, firm but kind. You're my sister. I want to be there for you. Still, she hesitated. She was afraid this was temporary, that once the guilt wore off, he'd cast her aside. I don't know, Andrew, she said. I need time. I understand, he nodded. Take all the time you need. Just know, I'm serious about this. He walked to the window. I want you to go to college, he said, to study whatever you love. I'll cover everything. You deserve a chance to chase your dreams." Lisa's eyes widened. She had dreamed of this her whole life, but never thought it possible. "I don't know what to say." "You don't have to say anything now," he smiled. "Just think about it. If you want this, I'll be here." Lisa spent the next few days lost in thought. Part of her yearned to accept Andrew's offer, to finally go to college, to escape poverty, to feel safe. But another part of her trembled. She was afraid of getting her hopes up, afraid of being hurt again. She had spent her whole life depending on herself. What if he changed his mind? What if she started to trust him, and he let her down? She kept working at the restaurant, keeping her distance. But Andrew didn't give up. He checked in with her gently, asked how she was doing, offered small bits of help without pushing too hard. He was patient, constant, like a steady hand reaching out in silence. And then one morning she walked up to him with a quiet resolve in her eyes. "I'll do it," she said. "I'll move in with you." Andrew blinked, surprised. "Really?" Lisa nodded. "But I have one condition." "What is it?" he asked cautiously. "I want to cover my own expenses," she said. "I'll keep working at the restaurant until I'm accepted into college. I don't want to be dependent on you." Andrew smiled, warm and proud. "All right," he said, "as you wish." And so began a new chapter in Lisa's life. She moved into Andrew's home, spacious, quiet, nothing like the dorms she had known. But she didn't let comfort make her soft. She kept working hard, determined to prove herself. Andrew, in turn, never stopped supporting her. He helped her with her studies, encouraged her when she doubted herself, introduced her to his friends, who welcomed her with open hearts. A true sibling bond began to form between them. They shared meals, stories, silent moments of healing. They were making up for lost time. One day, Andrew offered her a new role at the restaurant, administrator. Lisa hesitated. She had only ever been behind the scenes, quiet, invisible. The idea of managing people, dealing with clients, giving orders, it terrified her. But Andrew believed in her. He trained her personally, showed her how to handle problems, how to talk to customers, how to lead with grace. He reminded her over and over, "It's okay to make mistakes, Lisa. That's how we learn." Slowly she began to believe it. Together they decided to face the past. They would visit their parents. Lisa needed to see them. She needed answers. And Andrew needed closure. He had spent too long thinking his family was built on love and unity. Now he had to face the truth. The visit was hard. Their parents received them with a cold, distant politeness. They avoided eye contact, avoided the subject. Andrew couldn't take it. "How could you?" he finally burst out. "How could you abandon your own daughter? How could you lie to me for all these years?" Their mother stared at the floor, lips trembling. Their father stood stiff, arms crossed. "We were scared," their mother whispered. "It was a dark time. We didn't know what to do." Lisa looked at them, expecting to feel hate, but all she felt was sorrow. They weren't monsters, just flawed, frightened people who had made a choice, one that had shattered a child's life. Andrew clenched his fists. "I should cut you off," he said, voice shaking. "I should never speak to you again." But then he looked at his mother's hands. They were trembling. "Forgiveness doesn't come easy," he said quietly. "It takes time, but maybe we can try." Lisa turned to him, and after a pause, she nodded. From that day forward, Lisa and Andrew were no longer strangers brought together by chance and blood. They were family by choice. They stood by each other in hard times, celebrated each other's wins, and found strength in their shared pain. Lisa became a vital part of the restaurant, respected, confident, capable. She applied to college, and when the acceptance letter arrived, she cried in Andrew's arms. They had come so far, and together they knew the future was theirs to shape. Because family isn't just about where you come from, it's about who walks with you when the world feels heavy. And if you've made it this far, maybe you're walking through your own storm. Maybe you're carrying scars no one sees. If so, keep going. Healing happens one step at a time. And if you're looking for a way to take back control of your body, your energy, your confidence, something remarkable has just been discovered. In the video description, you'll find new research about a mysterious purple peel, a natural breakthrough that may help triple fat burning, even while you sleep. No harsh diets, no intense workouts, just a quiet shift that might change everything. Click the link in the description. Explore what it means for your life. You deserve to feel powerful in your own skin again.